Wait, what? Really? Okay.
Okay, with your host, Loren Weisman.
This is a fully licensed theme song for the show about stuff that makes you say, wait, what? Really? Okay.
Okay.
What is a messaging and optics strategist? Many people may have many different definitions. So I'm not saying this is the end-all be-all one, but this is how I define it for what I am as a messaging and optics strategist and for what I do for the Fish Stewarding Group. Many people come under the mindset that they're supposed to write a bio. Some say you need to have that tagline. Others will state it's how you send out this marketing message. Some will talk about the whispering approach. Some will talk about the arrogant approach, the overconfident approach, the assertive approach, dominant approach, submissive approach inside of your words. There's a lot going on there. So inside of your messaging, it's your choice. But also as you choose, realize messaging is a wide array. There's so many options of what you can be. And it ranges from the spammiest, most inauthentic, trash-talking hype artists to the people that sit in a level of humility and authority that present what they feel best represents them to showcase an organic and authentic authority. What I've seen inside of messaging that crosses over to marketing, and my belief is message before marketing. The messaging foundation allows you to plant the seeds to build a solid, stable, and secure foundation, which all of your messaging grows off of, which all of your marketing grows off of, which all of your content grows off of. And then inside of that harmony, there's a consistency. Yes, you may talk about an array of different things. However, staying true to you, and for that matter, if you're choosing this route, staying true to the truth. Not a truth, not my truth, not your truth, the truth can serve you well. Many have avoided messaging for a very long time. They tuck it under the definition of marketing. And inside of many marketing campaigns, you end up seeing oftentimes just an array of we're going to try this and then we're going to say this. Okay, that didn't work. Now we're going to change this. People shifting the bio, shifting the content. They're constantly flipping it around. Now, there's an element of testing the waters and making adjustments and edits, but there's also an element, and it's one to look out for, of people that are constantly trying to rewrite the script to achieve the popularity, or for that matter, the profit, and regardless of where their skill set, ability, or authority lies, they're just writing that script to make the buck. There are others that can speak with authority, can speak with authenticity, but the problem is they get linearized. They know what they're saying. Maybe they have the background, the experience, the education. Yet inside of that, their marketing choice is to share exactly what they know the way they know it. Now, the problem arises is, are there dozens of other people sharing that same message that don't know that? Or is it too many people making that claim so that there's a negative connotation with it? So this one individual maybe is truly, organically, authoritatively sharing something and something that can help people. However, because he chose that messaging and didn't pay attention to all the other messages, all the other marketing going around, all the other aspects of popularity, it ends up hurting him. So inside of messaging, or what I find to be correct, authentic, and humble messaging, is not just to sit here and write the bio that you like, create a little think tank of, wouldn't it be funny to do this? Let's copy this. Let's steal that. Let's do this. And we're off. Many of these marketing companies are happy to do that. They're happy to make your ideas pretty and sound great and look great. However, inside of those ideas, are they solid? Is the optic out there looking good for you, or does it look like too many other things? Are the considerations of compliance in place? Many are out there stating, the life coach, the business coach, that's just screaming out, you have to say you know what you're doing. I don't want you to say you know what you're doing. And many people are tired of it, as well as the algorithms online. If you know what you're doing, share that knowledge. Share it from a place of wisdom. Share it from a place of examples. Don't make the promise to get them into a funnel. Enough people are doing that. Take people into a place so that they can understand, so that they can find out more about you, so that your online presence from your website to socials to PR, press releases and whatnot is not one long stream of a marketing ad, but more so that people can see the seeds that you planted. They can read the quotes. They can watch short videos. Maybe you have a podcast. Maybe you have a book. And in that, please, don't write a book if you don't have a book in you. Not everyone does have a book in them. I don't even list that I'm an author anymore. I'm proud of my 3 books. I don't want to take away from that. However, right now, this whole, you can be an author overnight, it's kind of taken its turn. And now everybody's a best-selling author. It's amazing that we have so many different categories and so many bestsellers. And the whole thing is gain authority by writing a book. Shouldn't you have authority to share inside of a book so that you're sharing it and maybe you're gaining people and people are coming together and they're learning from it as opposed to just the low-hanging fruit marketing hype? When messaging is correctly found and sound and set in place, it considers the elements of the subjective to the objective. And this is just as inviting to the ears of an individual as it is to the algorithms and the penalizations that are happening online. Take medical, take legal, take business. When you're stating you have the answer, you've now made a claim. When you shift it and organize your messaging strategy to include, we believe this could be an answer for some because, now you've shared an opinion. Messaging and optics in one way to simplify it and bring it down to its most raw foundation is the wording, is the base messaging, is the description of your company, your product, your services, the elements coming out, something that could stand in a court of law. Because in some ways, that's what the algorithms are doing. That's what people are doing. Can you back it up? And even with the greatest idea, even with the greatest authority, to take the humility and say, I'm going to watch what other people are going to say or have said. I'm going to look at how they're presenting. I'm going to consider not going flashy and wow and amazing and sit there and show people, lead people through your experience, your education, your knowledge, your examples. The FAQs, and that's a big thing right now. Having those FAQs is great, and it's great for SEO, big time. And on that, by looking at the SEO and not necessarily just putting up something on Instagram or TikTok, and if you're on it, please get off it. Security, big issue. Talked about that in another podcast. Joe Rogan, even more so, great interviews that tie into the areas you just don't want to be touching with that, but not going to TikTok. Many are looking at, and many of the influencers to the marketing organizations, they're saying throw something out to get it as many views and as many likes and as many follows. And yet many have spent tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars for a false popularity that does not necessarily convert to positive profit. So why not have that video that goes out that maybe, it doesn't hit the mark with 10,000 views overnight, but maybe with 10 views, it's now optimized. And when people begin to look up those terms, they show up first when people are searching. Part of the messaging and the optic to share in a time when it seems there are more fools and liars than truth-telling authorities and authentic people is to plant those seeds. Is to share not just the end-all, be-all and where you want to send them, but plant small seeds of authority, of authenticity, of ability. This is why I do this is a great one. And oftentimes in the this is why I do this and being able to track where you came from, that can help with your authority over the people that are jumping from business project to a multi-level marketing thing to the latest and greatest to solar to whatever else. Water purification, solar energy. Yes, some of this stuff is really good. However, at the same time, Look at that individual that you are connected with, maybe on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter. Isn't it amazing? And I believe everybody knows one or two or more of them, how hyped up they are for something. And then a year or 2 years later, they're immediately onto something else. It's insane the way that people will chase after, hype up something, and then find out there's no substance to it. There's no authority to it. So then they go and hype up the next thing. And people are looking at that. They're looking backwards. How much are you involved in? That's why I like certain doctors that have the track record from their education to what they've done. Many of them have worked their way through, and they showcase a line of fire that is direct and clear, that from doing this, from learning this, from experience this, from working here, now I'm creating X. It's the same thing with many business people. It's not I worked in one place. You look at these 22-year-old types that are just sharing. This is what you need to do for everybody. This is the answer for everyone. One off, that's a claim. Second off, it's a lie. And that's a thing to stay away from inside of your messaging, inside of your optics, because you don't know what that particular person's budget is, who they know, what they've done, where their level of popularity exists. Many of these stories, and I came from music and television, we created false stories, a false hype, a sense to allow a seeming promise that wasn't really a promise at all. And people fell for it hook, line, and sinker. I prefer what I do now. It's organic, it's honest, it's a little bit more humble, and I can sleep better at night now than I ever did back in the late days of music and when I was in TV. Point being, inside of your messaging is the foundation. Maybe you had someone write a beautiful bio and it's Shakespearean or it's modern English or it's this or it's that. But is it filled with a whole bunch of claim phrases? Is it filled with oversaturated phrases? Is it filled with negative connotations? And any of these marketing groups, they can come back and say, oh, we got great tests on this. This is just great across the board. Who did you test? It's the same thing with any kind of claim. These days you can go and find a billion different people saying a billion different things, giving you the results that you want. That's where the optics come in. It's the optics of not just looking at the reviews or the views or the testimonials of this is what somebody's seeing and this is how they're seeing it. It might look a little bit different when you go at it honestly, when you mix up the age ranges, when you look at different classes, when you begin to really search out what the sound, the tone, and the temperature of your messaging is, over just sending it off to someone where oftentimes they're going to just find someone that says, hey, they love it. You may have to shift. You may have to pivot. You may have to adjust. You may be so sure. And I spoke with one guy, it was a couple of years back. He was doing something that had never been done before. It was an absolute objective truth. He was presenting ideas in a series of different ways that have just never seen the light of day. Again, an absolute objective truth. What he had brought together was years and years of study to prove this. All sorts of different vetting styles, all sorts of different studies, all sorts of different sort of failure attacks. Again, absolutely true. His product failed and went nowhere because of his ego. His ego allowed him to say, I can make all these statements because they're true, and this will show people. But unfortunately, his product was along the lines, and his messaging and the optics of it were along the lines of many other people that weren't true. And he was banging his head going, but mine is real. And that was the day, when I said, look, I can't help you. FSG can't help you. We understand you are correct. We understand it is true what you're saying. But for your unwillingness to bend, to consider the optics of what are out there, the temperature of how people are receiving, and the humility to say, okay, I'm going to lightly adjust a sentence and realize it's not just semantics. I can't even speak. That it can make all the difference in the world. And that in turn, people will find that to be more true. People can find it not to have a claim. People can not go in with that taste in their mouth from somewhere else. Now, it's not perfect across the board, but when you consider the tone, the tempo, the temperature, the subjectivity to the objectivity, when you look at the comparative and the competitive of others out there, when you look at the past, when you look at the future of different people that are putting out things, what are some words that are just not really something you want to touch on right now? What are some other words that are coming back? Where are you sitting honestly, organically, with authority and educating? And in that, when you add in then the compliance, when you consider liability, when you begin to roadmap what will go to your marketing people and drive them to say, we'll do this video here, we'll do these quotes here, we'll do this blog here, we'll do this kind of podcast there, then it all compounds to grow, built on a rock and not on the sand. Many of these marketing agencies, they want to just throw darts at the wall and create the latest, hippest thing. And this will be really relatable. And this will be this, or this will be that. It hits. Sometimes it hits. Sometimes it sinks. Some things that hit really hard, they sink later. So why not begin? And this isn't a sales pitch for me. It's for whatever you're doing and whoever you're doing it with. Why not begin by building the foundation, a sound, a solid, a secure, and a stable foundation of your messaging with the awareness of the optics that are out there, with the ability to set a blueprint so for whatever you say, what you share, what you create, how you advertise, how you interact online and off is coming from a place that best defines you, that best allows you to shine, and at the same time keeps you away from the claim statements and allows people to make the decisions for themselves that they're seeing, hearing, hey, even smelling something that seems just a little bit different, that seems like something they may want to look into a little bit more. Take the time with your messaging. Look to see that whoever you're working with has that sense. They're not just putting together the, flavor of the month, the flavor of the week, the flavor of the day, that they're setting up something that can grow for you, that can compound for you, so that every aspect and every element, from a bio to a tagline, to the name of your company, to the content created, to the way that you advertise, to the way that you go to the news, to the way that you can increase in interviews, that it's true, sound, authentic, and authoritative. Again, messaging to me comes before marketing. There are marketing companies out there that take the time to work with you to create the messaging. However, many of them, they're going to make more of their money by putting up ads behind the content that they create. And they're going to show you flashy things, and they're going to get you likes, and they're going to get you comments. But in the end, they might not get you that many customers. So lastly, and I'll close it out here, pause, stop. Consider those ideas we talked about, the subjective to the objective, negative connotations, positive comparisons, those that are competing, people, what they can compare it to, and an array of different people, an array of different businesses, digging a little bit deeper than just what you look at and what you Google search on your own computer. Take it that step a little further, and in securing the optic, in securing the messaging, it just might in the end do the most good for your business, for your brand, for reaching out to media, for reaching out to new customers, new investors, new connections. Take the time, look at the messaging, look at the optics, get it sound, get that foundation there, get that blueprint in place, and go.
Wait, what? Really? Okay.
Okay.